And then using those labels that you've helped me with, Crystal, that helped.
Mm-hmm.
And what our team has done is we've actually color coded like leads, what type of leads they are, and
Mm-hmm.
like all these other things. So it makes it a little bit easier. Before I
Yeah.
had like all the colors of the rainbow.
Yes. It's having specific colors, and different categories have different colors.
Right? Okay, let's see how this one goes.
Hello.
Hey, Cristiano, how you doing?
Good.
That's good. It's actually Nick Moretti giving you a shout. I actually just wanted to give you a call just to thank you for coming onto my website on morettirealestate.com. And I just want to make sure that you were able to find what you were looking for. I mean, I understand that you're probably just browsing and in your information stage, so I'm not here trying to sell you on anything. I just want to make sure that I'm sending you properties that you're interested in to help you on your search.
Yeah. Actually, it's a little bit premature because I will move into 3 months, 4 months, something like that. It's not sure, but yeah, it's probably I will move. And if I move, I will contact you.
Yeah, no problem. But the list that I'm sending you, I see that you're looking in Clarington. Are you only looking in Clarington?
No, I know the fact that probably I will go walking on Darlington and Son. I don't know the area.
Okay.
I know that I have to move there.
Yeah.
And my wife is still working in Toronto.
Yeah.
Because we are living downtown now, and I need a spot that is quite nice.
Yeah.
And it's well linked to Toronto. I think that I have to make a trip there just to understand, because I put Clarington because I saw that Clarington is good, but
yes,
maybe there are other spots that are
for sure
nice as well.
How far are you willing to go east? Because I know you guys are pretty much downtown.
Yeah, I don't know. It's as far as it's well linked to Toronto, and my wife again can come working in Toronto. It's good. I don't know. It's yeah. I really don't know, because I would like to have a nice area.
Yeah, for sure. So, are you only looking like more East End essentially? Because like North and West is expensive.
Probably I will be working in Darlington. And I have my car, and so there's no problem. I would like to be over there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I see that you're putting things for rental or for purchase, because I think you put rental, right?
Yeah, it's rental. It's rental because I want to test before.
Yeah,
before
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It's yeah. I think it's less expensive than Toronto, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Toronto, you're in the city, right? So over here,
I'm downtown now. We are renting something that it's cost 3,300, but it's.
Are you in a condo?
In a condo.
Yeah. For something like that, for 3,300, let's just say, just to show you in Clarington, you're probably able to rent a double car garage house, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, or 4 bedrooms.
Yeah, this is what I'm looking for, because we want more space.
Yeah. Okay, because what I can do is I'll set you up for those kind of things in Clarington and Oshawa, just to kind of showcase, and I'll even showcase Whippy.
Oshawa is nice, because a lot of people told me that Oshawa, sometimes it's not so good. It depends from the side where you are, because sometimes it's even dangerous or so on. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Hey, are you Italian?
Yeah, I'm French Italian.
French Italian. Okay, I'm another Italian here, so your accent I can pick up on. So it's good, man. It's good. You fluent?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm a mangia cake, so like I can understand it, but talking I just sound too white, so I don't really talk it too much, but I can understand it.
Okay.
But what I was thinking is, what I'll do is I'll showcase some properties for rentals in Whitby, Oshawa, Clarington. There's not that many available, to be honest with you, just because this is more owner occupied. But I'll showcase what's available. And the other thing is if you're interested, we can definitely go take a look at it. But what I was thinking too is that, depending on how long you're thinking of renting, with prices not going down, it might be worth purchasing something if it's in your budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, it's. I think buying is something that we can definitely do. What is scaring me, if I don't like at the end of the day, I have.
Yeah. Totally.
We can also, yeah, because I think that it's for 1 million or something like that, it will be something that we can buy something good, right?
Yeah, 100%, man. You can buy like a single car detached home. But I also live in Clarington, so I live in Bowmanville. So I know the area very well. I actually grew up in Pickering. So you know what? I know the area. I would put you in a good area that you're going to enjoy.
I'm negotiating because I'm working for Metrolinx now, but I'm negotiating a job in Darlington.
The Darlington, like the OPG?
Yeah, OPG, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and yeah, we want to move because downtown is different after the
It's a different story now. It's downtown so much more experience based, but now with COVID, everything is not experienced, right? Yeah. So everyone's staying inside.
There is no one more. It's a desert, and the price is skyrocketing after the COVID.
Right.
Yeah, and we want more space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally understand. Well, Cristiano, what I'll do is I'll send you some listings just for rental right now, so you can see what's out there.
Is good?
Yeah, Clarington's really good. I promise you. I live in Clarington. I love this area. It's nice. You have space. The community is very nice. You have people that actually are very, very kind, and they take care of one another.
Yeah, like you, it's good.
Yeah, exactly, right? Don't worry. They like Italians here, so everything is good, and French. So everyone here is really, really cool. I like my neighbors. The whole block is really cool. Everyone says hi to you when you're walking. People are walking the dogs. Like, you know what I mean? It's a really nice community. But what I'll do is I'll send you those rentals, and if you're available, are you and your wife, or you and your girlfriend? Sorry.
No, my wife.
Nice. So you and your wife, I can showcase a few properties for you, just so you guys get a sense of the area. And then if you're interested, like, I can even show you what's available to purchase if it's in your budget. And then you guys can go from there. The only reason why I'm saying this, and I'm not here to push you to purchase, is because Clarington is coming up in value so much in the last 2-3 years that this is a money pit. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, some of my clients bought like a detached 3-bed, 3-bath house almost 3 years ago for $510. You can now sell those for over $1 million here.
Okay, we can.
You know what I mean?
I will end my negotiation with OPG, I think, in 15 days, like that.
Nice.
At the end, we are going to explore both options.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to take care of you either way. I have a team. So me and Jess could take care of you on the rental. And if you look to purchase, like if that's the route, I can definitely help you out with that as well. So it doesn't matter. Whichever way you want, we can take care of you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Cristiano. I hope you have a great day, and good luck with the OPG.
Thank you for your call.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for not hanging up on me. I appreciate that. Okay, bye, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Okay, perfect. So like looking to rent, kind of figuring out the motivation on why you want to rent. And then, if he's spending $3,300 on rent downtown, he can purchase. But he had a really good point where he was like, well, I want to test the area out, which is, I think, a great thing to do too. Yeah. I can't hear you, Crystal. Is that on my end only?
No, I had myself muted.
Oh, no problem.
I said, no, it's a great way, especially if you're not familiar with an area before you dump, however much money into it, getting familiar. And if that's a possibility, you don't mind moving all the time, then why not, right?
Yeah.
Why not? We have somebody wanting just to see kind of what you do in your CRM.
Mm-hmm. No problem. I just really write notes. That's all I really do. Okay. I will share screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
So I just kind of write what I'm doing here. So spoke to him. He's Italian French. He has a wife. Looking for more space. Has a negotiation with OPG in Darlington. I try to write all the facts because then it helps me, understand it.
Well,
a
and
little
it's,
bit more.
and you know, your follow-ups are more powerful when you're leaving all that, because you're going to talk to a lot of people. You're not necessarily going to remember, or you're not going to remember all those details, right? So it just allows you to kind of loop back in, and makes that individual feel like you were actually there and care, and part of that conversation that actually happened. You're not calling them back and sounding as if you've never spoken to him before in the past.
Exactly.
Which is what a lot of people do. They call and they didn't leave notes, and then you can hear the awkwardness, right? It's just, our memories aren't as great as we give them credit for, right? We have high hopes.
Yeah, 100%. But I think what I'm really good at is like, and I've done this from like my years of real estate and perfecting my scripts and, you know, consistently calling. I think that I'm really good at breaking the ice, because once you can break the ice and then you know how the conversation needs to be steered, then like you don't need to call 50 people to get to one good lead. Like you just like, I only called 2 people. I mean, luck of the draw, right? So I get it. But I mean, I can control that conversation a little bit more, which means those 2 sales that I'm dealing with now, the past 2 calls, they might take a little bit of time, but as long as I'm on top of it, they will come to fruition.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the hard part, is following up. Because once you have you know, I have like 2,500 leads. So it's like, you know.
And you've got to be patient with the process, right? We can't force people to move. We all move under our own terms. And when the time is right for us, it's not up to that buyer or you to decide when that buyer should be moving, right? So you just have to trust the process and be patient. It will happen. It's just being there for your follow-up.
Right. And show that you care, right? So, and it's also knowing the market, right? Because I already know what product he can get.
Nick, when you have a lead come in, you typically wait a couple days to call them, or like 24 hours?
So generally, like back in my prime, meaning, you know, when I was just literally only focusing on this, I would wait either a couple hours, or I found that the best method was a day. Because people forget what they've done, and they're just seeing a random call. And I feel like that's a better way of getting them on, instead of calling them right off the bat. Because I feel like if you call right off the bat, I mean, you know, I understand that, you know, some people might like that, but I think it does more harm than good, in my personal opinion. And that's just the way that how I do my business, and in my trial and error. But that doesn't mean that I'm right. I'm just saying that strategy doesn't work for me the best.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everyone is different, right? And there's so many different approaches to this, right? Some people, they want to get on that call right away, right? They want to have that call right away. That's great, as long as you add value on that first call to make it memorable.
That's
right. If you're the first person to call them, but it wasn't, you know, the greatest, you maybe rush that call because you weren't actually in a good position to be calling that person, or, you know, able to write and document appropriate notes or action things properly. You're going to forget about that person. It's not going to go as solid as you think it did. And they're not, you know, again, you got to think of how you're being perceived by the person you're calling.
100%.
Right. You got to remember that. And so we want to come in with our best foot forward. If that best foot forward isn't, you know, it doesn't have to be right away. It could be a little bit, you know, down, you know, it could be a day, it could be 2 days, whenever you can. Essentially, it's the person that offers the most value and really helps to educate and understand and then provide solutions as well, or offer solutions. Those are the people where you're going to start earning the trust of the leads. Right. Whereas if we go in, you know, full on, I'm going to sell you something, a lot of these people aren't ready and they get a very standoffish, right? It's just like any of us. If someone called us and right away they start selling you something, or you give them your objection and they keep pushing, it's very uncomfortable. And I'm sure many of you have hung up on someone like that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just, you know what, like, and I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries.
My apologies.
No, go for it.
I was just saying, you know what's actually kind of a good opportunity to do too. If you have a friend, or if you're someone, you know, where I am right now in my career, where I have a team, like my assistant, my business operate, my man, like the operation manager, sorry, she was listening to me call, and she's been through some of my appointments as well, like listing appointments. And it's really interesting to see what she picks up on how I do my business. Like, for example, when I'm in listing appointments and when I'm doing these calls, I'm going based more on feeling. This you can get for your house. I'm kind of going based on like the feeling and the vibe of the conversation. Obviously, you need to know your stats and all that kind of stuff, right? But I don't like lead into that. I just kind of like, yeah, it was just really interesting when I, you know, when I was told that yesterday, because it really made me just have my own aha moment. And it's like, okay, that's my type of selling, right? Like that's what works for me. Because sometimes you're so like in the go that you kind of forget, like, you know, what people are saying about you. And I'm not saying in a bad way, but like how you facilitate the sale, because sometimes when you step back, you can see that it's like, oh wow, like this is why people call me back, or wow, this is why my scripts work. You know, and I
listen to your calls as well. It's a great
100%.
way to look back and reflect on, oh my gosh, it's like I said, like I'm not coming across the way I want to be coming across to these people, right? So always listening. Like a lot of people hate listening to themselves, but it's the best way to really learn, you know, on how to change even the tone and how you're talking, right? Exactly. I have somebody that is super great person, but the calls just sound like they're so unenthusiastic about the whole thing. It's just like, I'm having to call you, like, you know, mom made me do this. And I was like, right. You know, and I was like, oh my God, you're such a good, like, you got to put a little bit more enthusiasm in your tone there, kid.
Right.
It's like, if you were calling me, I just wouldn't feel a vibe at all. Like, it was just like very like, you know, he was on top, like, you know, he is like poster child for, you know, using the system. It's just his communication skills he just needs to get a little bit more excited about what he's doing.
Right. So, and that's the hard part when you're scripting, right? Like, Yell's new on my team. He's going to be a rock star as well. But it's just like, that's what I'm teaching him right now. Like, dude, before you even make any calls, just script, read your scripts. Once you know your scripts, then let's role play before
and
you
know. Yeah, it's like, and you know what? You can role play, you can do all that, but you don't also want to sound scripty either. Right. No. It's you want it to be like just a, you know, natural conversation. But yes, your script and how to introduce yourself into that call is definitely important. But as soon as you ask the first question, your script is going to change.
100%.
Right. And because that answer is always going to be different depending on what, you know, what that question is and how that person's going to respond to it. And so, and then also, like you said, the feels that you have. Right? Is this person actually sounding like they're really willing to have a conversation with me? Or are they kind of a little bit, you know, standoffish, and you can tell their guards are up, that I need to kind of break those barriers down a little bit.
Exactly.
Right? So,
right. And I'm finding too, it's like, you know, the person that you're talking to will know you're scripted because you're asking the same question again and not really like being on top of the conversation. And two, it's like, there's a prolonged wait to, you know, for an answer, you know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. You can tell they're trying to find the answer
in their
head. You can throw,
or
like on a piece of paper or whatever it is, right? They're not, it's not a natural conversation. It's very, you know, if you don't get all the information you're hoping to get on the first call, guess what? You're doing that on another call. Right. Remember, but again, like, make sure you have those good notes that you're leaving in there, so you're picking up where you last left off.
Right. And like lead gen can also look, instead of calling them, once you know what they're looking for, what a feature that I've been using on the agent locator is send handpicked listings and like write a note for that. What I'm noticing now from these leads is they don't want an email sent every day. They want a real estate agent that says, hey, look, this is what you're looking for. This is the product that's available. Let's go tonight. That is what they're looking for.
Or
They're
it's even just like looking and saying, oh, they're looking at these listings, seems like a little more. You see some sort of like common denominator in all of that. You say, hey, I noticed that you've been checking out, this listing a few times. Did you want me to send you more listings just like this one? Right? Exactly. Simple things like that, right? Or is there any information I could be grabbing on your behalf, with respect to this property?
Right.
So there's all different, it's like using that to your advantage, whether you've already had a conversation with that person, or if you're trying to get them in conversation, you haven't had that opportunity, they're just not picking up the phone or responding to a text. That's one way as well, because it shoots them off a specific listing that you've selected that you can identify that there's some level of interest based on the amount of times they viewed it. And then, hey, Nick, I noticed that you were checking out this listing a few times. Was there any information I can grab on your behalf? Right. It's showing that you're there actively working for them, even if you haven't had a chance to talk to them, or even if that their timeline is further out. Right. It just shows I'm still here working for you. I know that you're not moving for another year, but I just want you to know I'm here in the back end, still kind of taking care of things for when the time is right.
Right. And like, it all comes down to your sales approach and like what type of agent you are. I'm a relationship agent. I'm not a transactional base. I prefer not to be transactional, because I find the people that I have as a transactional, it's like, all my clients I pretty much vibe with, and like they become my friends for life. But, as you do many deals in your career, sometimes you don't come across those type of same people, right? And when you're helping like just like some other people that you don't have that connection to, I mean, the sale process still goes well, but you don't like, it's just a different feeling. And I choose not to do that, because if you're transactional based, like they only care about the commission rate and they don't care about anything else. And like, those are the type of people that I don't really want to work with, because you know what? They don't really value me going above and beyond for them, because they don't even like register that. And I have a lot of other people that would understand that and they would understand that and they would want to work with me still, right? So for example, I got one of my first, so sorry, I'm stumbling over here, but one of my first clients was from Korea. They actually moved from Korea and wanted to buy a house here. So they bought a house like 4 years ago. Now they called me to, upsize. Perfect. So now when I'm going through the listing appointment and breaking down the commission, right? They're like, Nick, like, I'm like, okay, well, if let's just say if we multiple representate, I'll do a little bit less. But you know what? They're right away. They're like, no, Nick, we don't want to take your money. And you know what? Those are the type of people that you want to work with and go the extra mile for, because they appreciate like your hard work and they're not here.
Well, they recognize the value, right? They can see, they know, or, some people are business, they own businesses. So they know that, there is value to what you're doing. And when they're looking at all these big fancy numbers as far as commission checks, they know that that's not going to your pocket solely, right? What you're taking away from that at the end of the day isn't what they think it is. So, and
then taxes, we love taxes over here.
Yepers.
So like, that's kind of what I'm saying, right? It's just like the value, and like, to me, it warms my heart more, and it gives me more of motivation when I help those type of people that, want the best for them and also the best for me, which is like a win-win. And like, I only operate in a win-win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I tell people now, like, it's been like 7 years of like hard fucking grinding, but now I'm at the point where I pick and choose. If I don't connect with you, dude, find someone else that's going to be a shitty realtor for you, because you don't deserve me, and sometimes they come back to me because they're like, you know what, Nick, you're right. So
they can see the value too, right? So they can hop around and then see who's actually pulling the weight and really actually working for them, rather than having them work and just call the agent when you want to look at something.
Right. And like, I hate it. And I'm sure all my other colleagues over here too hate it when people tell us we're glorified door openers. It's like, dude, no, we're not. Like, you get into this field and you do what we do every single day. It's not easy. And if I did this for the money, I wouldn't be here anymore. The money is not worth it.
The stress and everything that goes along with such a large emotional purchase. No.
Right. What's in it for me is like helping families get the house they want, knowing that you did something very well to help them.
Yeah, it's the gratification you get out of it.
Learning about families, building those lasting relationships, like family. Family is so, and you know, not talking about immediate family, but people that you kind of meet and grow with in your real estate journey, right? Like, to me, that's like so nice. That's why I'm still here, and that's why I'm still helping, you know, more than 50 families a year plus.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a people pleaser, this is a job for you.
Right. Exactly.
You know, if this is like, you know, if that's the type of person you are, then yeah, if you're just after the money, it's not a job for you. It's like a teacher being a teacher just for the breaks. Like, would you wouldn't want your kids going to be in that classroom because they know their heart's not in it. They're just doing something for a paycheck. Whereas, and you know, it's the same with real estate. You can tell who's in it, who really is passionate about their job and actually helping people. Whereas and you know, a lot of people start off that way, but then over time you might lose your passion, and it happens. We all kind of cycle through and we find our place wherever it is, and it changes. Our place often changes. Right. But you have to be able to identify, like, I think maybe this is time for me to find something else to do with my
100%.
knowledge in the industry, or switch to commercial. If you don't want to have
commercial's
any emotional,
work.
and it's not emotional. That's the thing. Right? Yeah. It's all numbers. It's all facts and numbers. Totally. So it's taking that emotion. You still have to please these people, and sometimes they have higher demands, but it's all business related. It has no emotional strings attached to it. Unless it's like some family mom and pop business that you're going to sell. That's a little different. But generally, when you're working with corporations that are looking to lease a unit, it's all transactional. It's and business related. There's no emotional, tangible things in there.
For sure. Mm-hmm. So to answer some of the people's questions, like our colleagues' questions, so what campaign does get used for new leads? So I actually go through and I created my own template. So like when someone comes in, I already have campaigns that automatically happen to follow up for me before I do that call. And those campaigns are about, 30 days for me. And then once I talk to them, then I change them, right? Like I take them off it or put them on another campaign. Now regarding tasks. So I have labels where it's like 1 week, 2 week, 1 month, 6 months, a year follow-up. So generally I would put people in that, or what I would be doing is if I had a call with someone, I told them I'll follow up with them next week or the week after, I would put that in as a task. So it shows up on my calendar on my phone so I can make sure that I call them, because it's the follow-up. So many people fall off the follow-up. Like, for me, what makes me a stronger agent is making sure that I put these tasks in and following up with these individuals. And that's my goal for the day. That's my lead gen for the day. Having those 5 people or 10 people or whatever on that day to follow up and call and then touch base with some more people. So that's
the follow-up is key. It's the follow-up is definitely key. It's we're all, I find that, and this is kind of like the norm for, in probably a lot of industries even, we're also anxious to get on the phone with a lead in the first place. Like, we got to get them on the phone. We get frustrated that we can't get them on the phone. We finally get them on the phone, and then it comes time to follow up with them and we drop the ball. Like completely. Like we just forget that we're supposed to do it. We overlook it. We don't task it. We don't whatever. We think we're going to remember whatever our, like, everyone has their different, different ways of managing things. But yeah, everyone's such an eager beaver and gets frustrated over leads not calling, but then they're just as guilty for not keeping that conversation going after the fact that you finally got that person on the phone and then drop the ball.
Right. And the other thing is too, is if someone's not like answering their phone 2, 3, or 4 times, like text them.
Yeah, you can shoot them a text, and you know what? It's okay if somebody's not ready to talk to you yet. Don't take it personally.
No, it's just a not yet. And this is what I told you.
It's just a not yet. Like, it's just like, I always kind of put it, I get all these calls and texts because at one point I was looking for a vehicle, and, it's just not yet. Like, if they don't pursue, they might check in every 6 months or every year or whatever it is. But it's just not yet, or I just avoid the call. I'm not ready. I'm just avoiding the call. I don't want to talk to you and tell you that I'm not ready, or I'm just not in a position right now that I, can take that call to tell you I'm still not ready or I'm not interested right now. But yeah, consider the no answers sometimes as we're not ready, and that's okay. You can leave people a message. Like, I understand you guys, if you've already talked to them, let them know that they don't have to call you back. I just want you to know that I'm here, checking in on you, letting you know I'm still working for you here in the back end of things, but whenever the time is right, you know how to find me. Right. So it shows that you're being, productive in the back end of things, even though they're not anywhere, in some cases, anywhere near being able to make a move yet.
Right. So, and this is what I tell Kayla and Jadelle as well too. Like, if people are not answering your phone call, it does not mean that they don't want to hear from you. It's just maybe they're busy, or maybe they have shit going on. Like, it's so hard as a real estate agent because when we call people, we expect in our heads that they have to fucking answer. Like, answer me, right? But it's like, dude, like, they're living their best life, like, or not, but they're just working or they're doing things in general, right? So that's the thing, right? Like, unless they tell you to fuck off or say, please, like, leave me alone, then cut your losses there, right? And move to the next one. But that's the thing. Once you have an abundance of leads, like, those won't hurt you as much as they would at the beginning, right? Like, and if you want to do better and get more, like, if you want to be better at Agent Locator, what I would do is script your stuff, get like a scripting partner, role play before you get on the calls, like even 20 minutes before, get yourself in that vibe, get yourself in a good mood, put your pump up song on, dance if you need to dance, do whatever you need to do. And number 3 is like, I would put a big budget down. Like, if you can afford it, put $1,000 down for your ad budget, because the more leads you get, the faster you'll get a deal. And it's practice. So
yeah, absolutely. It's just doing it and being calm and relaxed and knowing that everyone has their own time, right? They all have their own time. We have to be okay with that process. And and a lot of time if people are telling you to F off, you're going at them with a sales approach. Okay, you're going after them. You've got that sales hat on and you are trying to sell that person. You need to change the way you're talking to people. No, none of us. There's the very, seldom person, the random person that loves to be sold to, right? It's just something they I don't know, this certain kind of character type. But the most of us, we don't want to be sold to, because when we start getting sold to, it feels like you're out for your own gain, not my best interest.
Exactly.
Right. It's, unless you're really good, like there's some people that they'll sell and they're great at objection. There's some like really, really good sales reps out there, not in the real estate industry. I'm talking about just otherwise, that are really amazing at their jobs. And they've obviously, been at it for years and can handle objections, and every objection is a solution. They're not pushing you into being like this. They'll say, well, they'll give you a solution to that objection. Right. So those are people that understand their product and can really do that and pursue that. But at the same time, some people do definitely come across as pushy. I get it all the time when people call me about, I have domains, I guess, that I just have sitting there apparently. So I get calls, we can build websites. And even though I tell them I work for a web development company, they still try to push. I end up hanging up on these people. I'm like, you're not listening to me. Why in the world would I hire somebody else to build me a website when I work for a web development company? That makes zero sense whatsoever.
Exactly.
Right. It's count it as a loss and move on.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just trying to push you. And it's just like, no, I don't have time. Like, you have to listen to the person you're talking to. 1000%. Listen to them. It's about them and their best interest, not ourselves.
Exactly. So let's just get to some of the questions here before we sign off. So I do not have a video on my campaigns. My campaigns are my blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not giving that out, unfortunately. Yeah. So I'm sorry, but
if you're building a campaign, just, how I put it is a campaign, you can have emails and text messages to work for you, right? Some people prefer text, some people prefer calls, some people prefer emails. And so how somebody you end up ultimately getting a response from someone is going to be different. But your emails and text, if you are using those, you want to make them really short and precise, like to the point. You don't want these long-winded newsletter type emails that you're sending somebody because they know that they're on a grip. At that point, they don't feel it as a personalized email of you trying to attempt to make contact or connect. They know 100% that they are on some sort of drip, that you didn't sit there for half an hour to an hour developing or creating that email specifically for them multiple times this month, right? Like right. There's no way. So short, precise, to the point, right? And it's really just like, hey, something simple, right? Yeah, you just wanted to reach out. Notice that your online checking out listings have yet to get a hold of you. Most buyers I'm talking to are in that research stage. They're just, getting their ducks in a row. And that's okay if you guys are just looking. Where are you guys at in the process? Do you guys have a potential timeline in mind? Question mark. And then you just end it right there, right? It's short, sweet, to the point. We're trying to get a response from them, letting them know that it's okay if you don't want to talk to me as well. All right. We understand that you may not be ready, and that's okay.
Exactly. And then Rory asked, do I get more buyer leads than listing opportunities? So I don't do the listing campaigns as of yet. I do the buyers, and I've been getting a lot of listings from the buyer campaigns. It's just knowing your script and asking the right questions.
Yeah, knowing, and understanding if they do. And you can tell as well when they're buying, or they say, oh, we own a home, or, it depends on how that conversation is going. Exactly. Right? A lot of your buyers are sellers. So it's, trying to, if you're able to, depending again, how everything is going, is getting that information from them to see if it is a potential listing opportunity. Or if you're, depending on your board, you can send them sold listings, right? You can get that address, nurture them through sold listings as well.
Exactly. So that's basically it, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. Reach out to Crystal. I think Crystal is really good at, really helping. Well, she helped me manage and kind of get my flow going. So if you're kind of lost, don't know how to get started, or don't really know what to do on that end, I would definitely reach out to Crystal. If you need help with scripts or want some, different opportunities or different perspectives, reach out to me on Moretti Real Estate on Instagram, or hit me up. You can find my information on Google. So Google me. And then, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this class though.
Yeah, no, it was a good one. A couple good solid conversations. Yes. So awesome.
Yes. All right. Well, sounds good. Take care.
No problem. Everyone Bye. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you all in, I guess, a few weeks now.
Sounds good.
This month. Alrighty. Right. See you guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.